The vast emptiness of space stretched before the UES horizon, a sleek human starship that carried the hopes of Earth's first deep space exploration mission. Commander J. Park stood on the bridge, his dark eyes scanning the holographic displays that flickered with countless star systems and potential navigation routes. Elena Kim, the ship's communications specialist, adjusted her headset and frowned. Something was different about today. The usual quiet of deep space seemed charged with an unusual tension. "Commander," she called out, her voice cutting through the soft hum of ship systems. "I'm picking up unusual energy signatures." Jay approached her station, leaning forward to examine the complex web of data dancing across her screen. The energy patterns were unlike anything in human databases, sharp, geometric, and pulsing with an alien rhythm. Suddenly, the ship's exterior sensors erupted with warning signals. Massive silhouettes began materializing around the horizon, alien vessels that seemed to melt out of the darkness like phantom ships. Their design was nothing like human engineering. Crystalline structures that shifted and changed, hull surfaces that appeared to breathe and pulse with an inner light. "Defensive positions," Jay commanded, his voice calm but firm. The bridge crew moved with practiced precision, each member understanding their role without hesitation. The alien ships surrounded them in a perfect geometric formation. No weapons were drawn, but the message was clear. They were being intercepted. A transmission crackled through the communication systems. It wasn't sound as humans understood it, but a complex series of mathematical frequencies that Elena somehow managed to translate. "Unidentified human vessel," the message read. "You have entered restricted galactic territory. Prepare for immediate containment and interrogation." David Huang, the ship's lead engineer, whispered to himself, "First contact, and they're already threatening us." J. Park understood the stakes. This was humanity's first real encounter with an advanced alien civilization. One wrong move could mean war, or worse, complete annihilation. The alien vessels began emitting strange energy pulses, scanning waves that probed the horizon systems. Elena worked frantically, creating adaptive firewalls to protect their technological infrastructure. "They're trying to access our computer systems," she reported, "but our quantum encryption is holding." What the aliens didn't know was that humans had spent decades preparing for such a moment. Every system on the horizon was designed with multiple redundancies, with the assumption that any first contact might be hostile. Jay watched the alien ships, noting their impossible movements. They didn't just move through space, they seemed to fold and unfold reality around themselves. Each vessel looked like a living mathematical equation, defying standard physics. The tension on the bridge was thick enough to cut. Young crew members gripped their stations, their training barely masking their mixture of fear and excitement. This was the moment humanity had dreamed about for centuries, a true encounter with an alien civilization. "Maintain communication protocols," Jay instructed. "Do not appear aggressive, but do not show weakness." David's hands flew across his control panel, rerouting power, preparing emergency jump sequences. The ship could disappear in a microsecond, if required, a capability that most alien species hadn't yet developed. The alien transmission changed. More complex now. It seemed to be analyzing their response, probing for weaknesses, trying to understand these strange human beings who had wandered into their domain. Elena's translator worked overtime, converting the alien communication into something comprehensible. Mathematical equations became words. Complex frequency patterns transformed into recognizable language. "Identify your purpose," the new transmission demanded. J. Park took a deep breath. His response would define humanity's first impression in this vast unknown galaxy. "We are explorers," he transmitted back, each word carefully chosen, seeking understanding, not conflict. The alien ships remained motionless, their crystalline structures reflecting starlight in impossible geometric patterns. Somewhere in that moment, the fate of two civilizations hung in delicate balance. This was more than a first encounter. This was humanity's first step into a larger, more complex universe. The research lab aboard the UES Horizon hummed with intense concentration. David Huang leaned over a holographic display, his fingers tracing complex alien signal patterns. Weeks had passed since their first encounter, and every moment was dedicated to understanding the mysterious technology of their unexpected alien opponents. "Look at this," David muttered to Rachel Lee, who was reviewing signal interceptors. The hologram flickered, showing intricate geometric wave patterns that seemed to dance and shift. Most humans would have seen chaos. David saw a language, a mathematical communication more precise than any spoken words. The alien technology was built on principles completely foreign to human understanding. Their communication wasn't just a transfer of information, it was a living, breathing system of mathematical relationships. Rachel watched as David began breaking down the alien signal's core structure. Where other scientists might have seen an impossible puzzle, David saw opportunity. Humans had always been adaptable, and this was no different. Their communication systems are like complex neural networks, David explained. They don't just send signals, they create living information structures. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a routine analysis, David discovered that the alien communication had a fundamental weakness. Their technology was so perfectly designed that it became predictable, and in that predictability lay vulnerability. He developed a unique decryption algorithm. It wasn't about breaking their code. It was about understanding their communication's underlying mathematical language. Each alien signal became a window into their technological thinking. Commander J. Park watched the demonstration with growing excitement. The research team had transformed a potential threat into an opportunity for understanding. "We can develop adaptive communication disruptors," David explained. "Their perfect system means they can't easily adapt when something unexpected happens." The lab became a hive of activity. Engineers and scientists worked around the clock, translating alien technological principles into human applications. They weren't just copying alien technology. They were reimagining it. Rachel's team discovered something even more remarkable. The alien communication systems had built-in limitations. They were so mathematically precise that they struggled with chaotic or unpredictable inputs, something humans excelled at creating. Days turned into weeks. The research continued. Each breakthrough was carefully documented, each discovery a potential game-changer in their unexpected conflict with the alien civilization. "It's like they've never encountered a species that thinks outside their mathematical frameworks," Rachel observed during a late-night strategy session. The implications were massive. The aliens had technology that seemed centuries ahead of human capabilities. But they had one critical weakness. They couldn't easily adapt to true randomness. Humans, with their capacity for creative problem-solving, could exploit this fundamental limitation. David created a series of adaptive communication devices. They weren't just tools. They were living technologies that could change and respond in real time. Where alien systems were perfect and rigid, human technologies became fluid and dynamic. Commander J. Park understood the larger strategy. This wasn't just about technological superiority. It was about showing that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to adapt, to think differently, to find solutions where others saw only problems. The research team worked with a sense of purpose. They knew that every breakthrough could mean the difference between survival and extinction. Their small laboratory aboard the Horizon had become the most important place in human space exploration. "We're not just defending ourselves," David told the team during one strategy meeting. "We're learning, we're growing. We're showing that humanity can compete with technologies far beyond our current understanding." Rachel looked at the holographic displays, watching as their new adaptive communication systems took shape. They were creating something entirely new, a hybrid of human creativity and alien mathematical precision. The alien civilization had expected a simple conquest. They hadn't anticipated meeting a species capable of turning their own technological principles against them. As the research continued, one thing became clear. This was more than a technological breakthrough. This was humanity's first true test in the larger galactic community. The alien ships hung in space like frozen crystals, their geometric shapes a testament to mathematical precision. Rachel Lee stood in the tactical planning room, her fingers tracing holographic battle scenarios. The human strategy was about to change everything. Psychological warfare wasn't just about fighting. It was about making the enemy question everything they understood about conflict. The alien communication intercepts revealed a critical weakness. Their military structure was completely logic-based. Every decision followed predictable mathematical patterns. Humans would destroy that predictability. "We're going to make them doubt everything," Rachel told her special operations team. Their first strategic move was subtle. Human ships began sending deliberately confusing signal patterns. Sometimes they would appear in one location, then instantly vanish. Other times they would split into multiple phantom signatures that seemed to exist everywhere and nowhere. The alien military command became increasingly frustrated. Their tracking systems, designed for absolute precision, couldn't lock onto human ship movements. What should have been simple tracking became a nightmarish puzzle. David Huang's communication disruption technologies played a crucial role. He created adaptive signal generators that could mimic, then instantly transform alien communication frequencies. Each transmission became a psychological trap. Commander J. Park watched the strategy unfold. Humans weren't just fighting. They were playing a complex psychological game that the aliens couldn't comprehend. Small human squadrons would approach alien defensive positions, then perform impossible maneuvers. They would split, merge, create holographic duplicates that confused enemy targeting systems. Where alien military doctrine expected straight lines and predictable movements, humans introduced chaos. The alien general monitoring these encounters found himself increasingly bewildered. Human ships moved like living things, unpredictable, dynamic, defying every known military principle in the Galactic Handbook. Rachel's team studied alien communication patterns. They discovered that the alien military culture valued absolute control and mathematical prediction. By introducing random elements, they were essentially creating a psychological breakdown in alien military thinking. One particularly brilliant strategy involved sending false communication signals that suggested massive human fleet movements in completely opposite directions. Alien defense systems would frantically reallocate resources, chasing phantom threats that didn't exist. "We're not just fighting," Rachel explained to her team. "We're making them question their entire understanding of warfare." The psychological impact was profound. Alien military units became increasingly hesitant. Their perfect mathematical strategies began to fracture under the weight of human unpredictability. Human ships would sometimes deliberately allow themselves to be detected by alien sensors, only to vanish moments later. Each encounter left alien commanders more confused and frustrated. David's technology played a critical role. He developed adaptive communication systems that could instantly change frequencies, create false signal echoes, and generate complex disinformation patterns faster than alien computers could process. Commander J. Park understood the deeper strategy. This wasn't just about winning battles. This was about demonstrating humanity's fundamental strength, adaptability, creativity, and the ability to think beyond established systems. The alien general watching these encounters found himself in an unprecedented situation. His perfectly designed military machine was being systematically dismantled, not through superior firepower, but through psychological manipulation. Human ships began using unconventional tactics. They would approach alien vessels, then suddenly change course in ways that defied standard navigation principles. Each movement was a psychological message. We are not predictable. We are not controllable. Rachel's special operations team became legends within the human fleet. They weren't just soldiers. They were psychological architects, designing warfare strategies that challenged everything the aliens understood about conflict. As weeks passed, the alien military command became increasingly unstable. Their rigid, mathematical approach to warfare was being systematically destroyed by human creativity. Humanity had discovered its greatest weapon, the ability to introduce controlled chaos into a system that demanded absolute order. General Coral Vex stared at the battle records, his mind struggling to comprehend the impossible scenario unfolding before him. The human fleet was no longer just resisting. They were systematically dismantling the most advanced military force in the known galaxy. The turning point came unexpectedly during what should have been a simple planetary assault. The alien Confederation had selected a strategic human colony as their primary target, expecting a quick and decisive victory. Commander J. Park had other plans. As alien ships approached the human colony, something strange began to happen. The planet's defensive systems seemed to come alive in ways no one could have predicted. What appeared to be simple communication towers transformed into complex defensive networks. David Huang's technological innovations were everywhere. The colony wasn't just a settlement. It was a living, breathing, adaptive system. Defensive platforms could reshape themselves, communication networks could redirect energy, and entire sections of infrastructure could move and reconfigure in microseconds. The alien assault fleet found themselves facing a planet that fought back like a living organism. Defensive systems didn't just block attacks. They anticipated them, redirected them, turned the aliens' own weapons against their sources. Rachel Lee's psychological warfare strategies reached their peak during this engagement. Human communication, signals created impossible scenarios. Alien ships would target what seemed like critical infrastructure, only to discover they were attacking elaborate holographic decoys. The colony's defense was a masterpiece of human innovation. Every system was designed with multiple backup plans. When one defense failed, another would instantly take its place. The aliens were fighting something that wasn't just technologically advanced, it was fundamentally alive. General Corral Vex watched in growing horror. His perfect mathematical models of warfare were collapsing. The humans weren't just defending. They were transforming the entire concept of planetary defense. Small human squadrons began launching counterattacks that defied all standard military logic. They would appear in impossible locations, strike with surgical precision, and vanish before the alien ships could even comprehend what had happened. The planetary battle became a nightmare for the alien Confederation. Their ships, designed for mathematical precision, found themselves fighting an enemy that understood chaos as a weapon. Commander J. Park coordinated the defense from the UES horizon. His strategy wasn't about defeating the aliens. It was about demonstrating humanity's fundamental strength, adaptability, creativity, and the ability to turn limitations into advantages. David's adaptive communication systems played a crucial role. The human colony's defense network could instantly reconfigure itself, creating communication pathways that the aliens couldn't track or understand. Each alien attack was met with a response that was simultaneously defensive and offensive. Rachel's psychological tactics reached their peak. Human communication signals created doubt and confusion among alien military units. Ships would receive conflicting information, their perfectly designed systems becoming increasingly unstable. The colony wasn't just defended, it transformed the entire concept of planetary warfare. As the battle progressed, something remarkable happened. The alien ships began to show signs of systemic breakdown. Their perfect mathematical communication network started to fracture under the weight of human unpredictability. General Corral Vex realized the true nature of the conflict. This wasn't just a battle. This was a fundamental challenge to everything the alien Confederation understood about warfare, technology, and survival. The human colony stood defiant. What should have been a simple planetary assault had become a turning point in the conflict. The aliens had expected a quick victory. Instead, they found themselves facing a species that could turn limitation into strength. As the battle concluded, the alien fleet retreated. Not because they were defeated, but because they were fundamentally confused. They had encountered something beyond their understanding, a species that didn't just fight, but reimagined the very concept of conflict. The turning point had arrived. Humanity had shown the galaxy that true strength wasn't about perfect systems, but about the ability to adapt, to create, to transform challenges into opportunities. The galaxy held its breath. Silence stretched between the human fleet and the alien Confederation's remaining ships. Commander J. Park stood on the bridge of the UES horizon, his hands clasped behind his back. watching the holographic displays that showed the vast emptiness of space. General Coral Vex received the unexpected transmission. It wasn't a demand for surrender. It wasn't a threat. It was an invitation to communicate. "We do not seek destruction," the human message read. "We seek understanding." The words confused the alien military command. They had fought a war that should have ended in total annihilation. Instead, humanity offered dialogue. David Huang and Rachel Lee worked together to prepare the communication protocols. They understood this was more than a diplomatic meeting. This was a chance to redefine interstellar relationships. The meeting location was carefully chosen, a neutral space station located in an unexplored star system. Neither human nor alien ships would have tactical advantages. Everything would be equal. When General Coral Vex arrived, he found something completely unexpected. The human delegation wasn't dressed in military uniforms. They wore simple communication suits designed for maximum cultural exchange. Commander J. Park began the conversation with a surprising statement. "We are not here to conquer," he explained. "We are here to learn." The alien general struggled to understand. Every military encounter in his civilization's history had ended in total submission or complete destruction. Humans were offering something entirely different: mutual understanding. David presented technological research that showed how human and alien systems could potentially complement each other. Their adaptive communication technologies could create unprecedented opportunities for scientific collaboration. Rachel demonstrated how their psychological approaches could help resolve complex interstellar conflicts. She showed examples of how understanding different perspectives could prevent future wars. The alien delegation watched in growing amazement. Humans weren't just offering peace. They were offering a completely new way of thinking about interstellar relationships. General Coral Vex realized something profound. The humans had not just defended themselves. They had fundamentally challenged the entire concept of galactic conflict. The negotiations lasted several Earth days. Each moment revealed more about human potential. The aliens discovered a species that wasn't interested in conquest but in growth, understanding, and mutual development. Technological exchanges began. Humans shared their adaptive communication systems. Aliens shared advanced energy production technologies. Each side recognized the potential of collaborative development. Commander J. Park understood the larger strategy. This wasn't just about ending a conflict. This was about creating a new model of interstellar cooperation. The final agreement was unlike anything in galactic history. It wasn't a treaty of submission. It was a framework for mutual exploration, technological exchange, and cultural understanding. General Coral Vex made a remarkable statement during the final session. "Humans are not just a species," he said. "They are a force of potential that defies traditional understanding." The human delegation didn't celebrate. They understood this was just the beginning of a long journey of mutual discovery. As the first joint research missions were planned, something remarkable happened. The rigid alien confederation began to change. Their perfect mathematical systems started incorporating human creativity, adaptability, and unexpected problem-solving approaches. Humans gained access to technologies beyond their previous imagination. Aliens gained something equally valuable: an understanding of a species that could transform challenges into opportunities. The war that should have ended in destruction had become a gateway to a new era of galactic exploration. Commander J. Park looked out at the stars. He knew this was more than a diplomatic victory. This was a demonstration of humanity's true potential.